welcome, Ray, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, and thank you, Susan, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, it's just delightful because I know that you are one person who's very focused on getting results. You're very coachable. You take action, and so it's just wonderful for you to share. So before we move on, the very first question that I need to ask you is: in the last 2 years, have you had a mammogram, a complete blood work, and a Pap smear?
I have had blood work, complete blood work, and a pap smear, but no mammogram.
Okay, so that's point number one at the top of your healthy performance plan. Please write that down because going and having your mammogram, all we want to know is that what you're experiencing is due to the aging process and that you're healthy. Because as you know, menopause isn't a health issue, even though you feel that there's things going on, you're not sick. You know that, don't you?
I do know that.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly times when you want to feel like, but you're not sick. So that is fabulous. Okay. Now I'd like to go through the health evaluation form. Now you did receive this on your phone, but for this exercise, I'd just like to go through and just check some of the issues that you are experiencing. So what would be the number one thing that you think is a problem right now that's sort of stopping you from sort of feeling on top of your game?
My energy levels, first thing in the morning, not always waking up feeling bright and sparky and ready to get on with the day.
So would I be correct in saying then that energy is the outcome, but your biggest problem then is not sleeping well?
I hadn't actually thought of it that way, but now that you say that, then I think about it. Yes, I do wake up several times a night.
Okay, so if we could figure out or find a solution for your sleeping better, then the outcome would be you would have more energy when you wake up. Well, you know what? I think waking up, bouncing out of bed rather than waking up and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have to get up?
Yes, that would be wonderful.
That's the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Hitting the snooze button.
Hitting the snooze button. Yes, yes, yes. So what is another problem that you find that you're living with at the moment? That you just can't figure out what the solution is?
There has definitely been added aches and pains.
Okay.
And also the dreaded weight issue.
Yes, the weight issue.
The weight issue.
Yes, you know what? And it is a bit of an issue. Look, gone are the days where we could do what we want and know that we're going to get up in the morning and still be able to put those jeans on.
Yes.
You know, what would be we can talk about that a little bit later. So that is the number one is I guess the weight issue, because again, you know, just for your information, and I don't know, somehow it has always made me feel a little bit better, but 100% of women between 40 and 65 at some point will have an increase in body fat, and that weight gain is the biggest problem for women going through this. You know, it's a very simple equation. The age goes up, the working of the body goes down. You know, we have this creates an imbalance because every system in the body is slowing down. And as the slowing down process kicks in and the imbalance is what you live with, that causes symptoms. And one of the most common symptoms is weight gain. Do you experience any of the following? Do you experience any nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, belching or gas, or intestinal or stomach pain?
Bloating and intestinal and stomach pain, yes.
Okay. So do you find that happens, intestinal and stomach pain, do you find that you experience that after food, or, you know, immediately after food, or a little time has gone past after you're eating, or have you identified when that could be most prominent?
It's usually later in the day.
Okay.
And as the day goes on, and also can be contributed to some certain foods.
Okay, and I think that's really important, is that we really need to to listen to what our body is telling us. When I was going through perimenopause, it was crazy because I could eat all breads except the Bergen brand. And the Bergen brand used to give me hot flushes.
Wow, that's incredible, isn't it?
So no other brand gave me hot flushes, but as soon as I had a piece of Bergen brand, whether it was fresh or toasted, I had hot flushes. So you just be mindful of what you're eating, and if you experience any bloating or intestinal pain, think about what you've eaten like within a 4 or 5 hour period to experiencing the problem. And
Yes.
keep a journal of that. Keep a journal of that and write it down.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
it could be as simple as just removing that food or, changing the form of the food. It's interesting. Some foods may react to you raw. Some foods may not react. The same food may not react cooked.
Mm. Yes, definitely. And I think one that comes straight to mind is capsicum.
Okay.
Yeah, so cooked capsicum, perfectly fine. Raw capsicum, indigestion straight away.
Wow. There you go. And God, and you see what you're experiencing. This is good for us to take notes, or for the ladies watching, because they may not have thought about capsicum, and yet
Mm.
it could be something they react to as well.
Yes, yes.
But wow, that's wonderful. Good girl. Right there. Just really journal,
Mm.
what we're talking about here so that you can be mindful of it. Because if we can move through some of these symptoms of change, and all you need to do is shift to how you may eat something or cook something,
Mm.
buy, it's a simple thing to do, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, so next question is, do you experience any poor memory, confusion or poor comprehension, poor physical coordination, difficulty in making decisions, stuttering or stammering, slurred speech, like learning disabilities? Probably disabilities is a bit of an extreme word to use, but have you found that your brain function isn't functioning like it used to,
Oh,
or none of the
absolutely.
above?
All of the above,
Okay.
absolutely. Some days I wake up and I'm trying to do something and I think, oh my goodness, really? Why? What is going on? Why can't I? I've read something 5 times and still haven't taken it all in, and it's only 1 or 2 paragraphs.
Okay. So, and this is crazy because all it could mean is that your brain is lacking some nutritional elements. You know what? Let's look at the skin for an example. I am not a beauty therapist, but I do know at this age that there's certain things the skin needs. So it needs to be hydrated. So you've got to drink water and you've got to moisturize the skin, right? But also there's certain elements the skin is missing now, like collagen and elastin.
Mm.
So it's not enough just to wash the face or to drink water. You've also got to use products, whether they be natural elements or whether they be products that have, you've bought off the shelf or whatever, but you need to somehow replace those elements.
Mm.
And it's the same with the internal body is the same. The brain and the physical body is the same. They're lacking certain elements, and we've got to figure out what your brain is missing. That's an
That
interesting
would be
way.
fantastic.
That's a good way of putting it, isn't it? What is your brain missing? What is your brain missing?
And I guess that depends who you ask. If you ask my family, they say a lot.
And do you find at any time through this period of going through this whole menopause maze, have you ever experienced emotional outbursts? Have you been extra emotional, do you think?
I wouldn't say emotional outbursts. That's not really that hasn't been an issue. What I have found is that I am extremely emotional and can well up with tears without actually crying
Okay.
many, many, many times a day. And it can be just the simplest little thing as watching something on TV, just a little snippet of, oh, you know, for instance, the doghouse on TV. And once upon a time, I would be absolutely fine with that. And I'm welling up with tears and thinking, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful and so wonderful.
Wow. Okay. So you're a little bit more sensitive to what's going on around you.
Extremely.
And you know, do you find that you get moody at all? Do you experience mood swings?
A little bit of mood swings. I think I definitely go quieter and into myself a lot more than what I used to.
Okay. And I think this can also I think this is also becoming more aware of you are. It's amazing as we mature and we go through life, you know, there's some of these things can happen even without menopause, you know. I
Yes.
think that some of these things are going to naturally happen anyway. And how about depression? Also, let me reframe that. Depression or feeling depressed, because depression is a state. That's a clinical issue, depression. Let's just call this feeling depressed at times.
Yes, more than what I did when I was younger, for sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so do you experience any of the following energy-related issues? Now, we already have talked about sleep, but do you ever feel fatigued, hyperactivity, restlessness, a decrease in strength or performance?
Restlessness, yes, definitely often feel restless at the end of the day, even though I'm feeling exhausted and my body's feeling exhausted. And I definitely do feel that restlessness. I do feel a lot more muscle cramping, lots of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
Wow.
definitely those fatigue and those that restless feel and feeling not feeling calm in
In the
overall.
restlessness. Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Gosh. So mentally you're calm, but physically your body's taking on like all this other stuff going on.
Yeah. Yes.
Interesting phenomenon of the body. I tell you, it really is a very interesting thing. Muscle cramps are interesting. Muscle cramps can be, and I speak very generally, not specific, just very generally, but two main reasons for muscle cramp is a lack of some of the nutritional elements, especially the minerals. You can be lacking the different certain micronutrients, that's vitamins, minerals, and or else, you know, muscles work through what's called a sliding filament theory. So the muscle fibers, when you contract a muscle, do this sort of an action. And sometimes with a muscle cramp, if you're not stretching or moving the muscle enough, it can tighten and the muscle gets stuck and it causes a cramp. So something to maybe be aware of. Again, listen to when you feel your muscles cramping, and could it be through lack of movement, lack of stretching, or could it be that your body's missing certain elements? Do you experience any of the following skin issues? Acne, hives, hair loss, hot flushes, excessive sweating, or none of the above?
Definitely some hair loss over the last few years, and nothing else really, none of the others.
Yeah, cool. You've got beautiful hair. It doesn't look like you're losing any hair.
Thank you. It's actually about half the thickness. My ponytail is about half of what it was as to premenopause.
Okay. So I spoke to a hairdresser once on my journey of finding all the answers for myself and for others. And he said that the hair, there's a bulb, and in the bulb, the hair follicle grows from the bulb. And sometimes as we get aging, like all the rest of the body, that hair follicle in the bulb needs to be stimulated. It needs to be cleansed. It needs to be, you know, it's a lot of the time it's just gunked up because of years of not knowing how to do the hair the right way or using the right products, or, you know, the aging process slows it all down. It's really, really what I find very fascinating is that every single part of our body experiences the aging process in some way,
Mm.
you know? So it's just finding the
very
answer.
interesting.
It is really interesting, right? Yes. Yes, I went into a hairdresser once to talk about it, and he took me out the back and he opened up his big manual, and I saw all these pictures of hair bulbs and follicles and what was going on. Respiratory problems, chest congestion, asthma or bronchitis, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that has definitely been an issue, been a much bigger issue than when I was younger. Even I sort of have a little bit of predisposition to a bit of asthma and chest and bronchial issues. However, definitely over the last 4 years, especially, I've definitely had some major bouts that I hadn't had previously.
Okay. Interesting, isn't it?
And more frequently.
And more frequently. Okay. And I guess, have you noticed, with lifestyle changes? I know that you've had a lifestyle change over the last recent times. So do you notice that any of your symptoms are worse or less with a lifestyle change?
No, it hasn't necessarily been, yes, lifestyle change.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, do you binge eat or drink? Do you crave certain foods?
Oh, I'm definitely a binge person. I will definitely binge drink on occasions, and definitely sometimes buy a whole block of block of chocolate and eat the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. I do the same. I think we all have our little thing that we do. You know what? It's all about, willpower is one thing, but I think it's okay to give permission to enjoy it sometimes as well. But to do it often, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, to do it often is a problem. So we'll talk about that in the next segment of the session. So, do you experience any of the following muscle issues? You've already said that you experience some muscle cramping, but do you experience any arthritis or weakness or tiredness or backache or anything?
Yes, definitely have had some issues in the past with medical issues which have led to those problems.
Okay.
Or those symptoms, and definitely I found between the age of 55 and 56 that year, I experienced probably the biggest downturn in my overall being, I'm going to say. And that is definitely fatigue, muscle fatigue, body fatigue, and definitely not as strong as I used to be.
Okay.
In terms of being able to lift a certain weight and also for prolonged periods, not being able to not being able to sustain it.
Okay. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Do you experience any of the following eye-related issues? Watery eyes, swollen eyes, bags or dark circles, blurred, or a tunnel vision?
Blurred. My eyesight again has definitely, especially the last 12 months or so, has definitely declined a lot.
So when was the last time you went to the optometrist?
4 years ago.
Okay, so write that on your list as well. This is like, it's like having a vintage car, and you've got to go get it all, not even a vintage car, a 10-year-old car, anything over 10 years car, you've got to go get everything checked on the car so that you know that you can drive somewhere and know that it's not going to break down on you. So you need to go get all the parts checked. So this is what we're doing. You've got to go and get your eyes checked, right? Yes?
Yes.
Cool. And I've worn glasses my whole life. So when I say my whole life, I got my first pair of glasses when I was 14. And my optometrist told me that my eyesight would change at 21, at 40, and anywhere between 70 and 85.
Right.
He said that can differ, of course, depending on lifestyle and health issues, et cetera, but he's been absolutely on the mark. My prescription changed at 21 and my prescription changed at 45. So it's important. You're at that point now where you need to go and have it checked again.
And it's interesting you say 45 because that's the first time I had to actually have glasses.
Okay. Jay, that is interesting. So you know what? You may not need to have your prescription changed, but you just want to go check the health of the eye. One thing that I've experienced now that I never used to is that my tear ducts don't produce enough tears to keep my eye moisturized. Or hydrated. So like the skin, your eyes need to be kept hydrated.
Yes.
So I put drops in my eyes that are slightly more, you can go and get eye drops from the chemist. My drops are prescription because they're slightly thicker and they actually stick to the eye longer. And since I've been putting these drops in, I don't have any problems.
Wow.
So there's always a solution to a problem to help these beautiful bodies of ours age healthy. And it's really just that, it's just that maintenance, isn't it?
Definitely.
So do you experience any of the following sleep issues? So do you have problems sleeping, getting to sleep, or waking up while you're sleeping, or staying awake, like insomnia?
Mine is more of just waking up fleetingly, usually. So if I'm rolling over, I'm waking up. There are, of course, times where I need to go up and use the bathroom way more frequently than I used to during the night.
Yeah.
And that, again, can be dependent on the night. And very occasionally I will have a night where I will wake up and then I'll be awake for period of time, like 1 to 3 hours. And it's, turn the light on, read, do all the things that would normally put me to sleep straight away, and they don't.
And what time do you go to bed normally?
I'm usually in bed 9:30, between 9 and 10 usually.
Okay, so you do go to bed at a good time. It's important to be asleep before 11 o'clock because it's between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock this is the very deep sleep, and this is when your hormone system actually recovers. It's part of that recovery process. Sleep helps to recover the endocrine system, and meditation helps to recover the nervous system. Okay, so it's really important to sort of, when we understand how all of these different areas work, that we work with them, so that we can help our body work better. But you know what you might find is that maybe you're going to bed too early.
That could be a possibility.
I'm just throwing ideas out here. I know if I go to bed at 9:30, I'm awake way too early.
Yeah, well, I'm at 6 o'clock. 6 a.m.
Okay, well, that's a good time. Okay, so what we just need to think about is be aware of what you're doing. The nights that you wake up and that you're not feeling, when you wake up in the morning and you know that you've had that sleepless night, or you've had to get up and pee a couple of times, then think about, what did you do through the day before? What did you eat before you went to bed? What time did you eat before you went to bed? The body likes, one thing we know about the body is that it likes regularity. It likes structure. It likes to go to bed at the same time. It likes to eat at the same time. And I've always found this a problem because I just like to eat when I'm hungry. I like to sleep when I need to sleep. But learning to put yourself into a pattern so that it works with your circadian rhythms, it's a very important piece of sleeping. The other thing that you could do is to make sure you prepare yourself for bed. So change the lighting, change the clothes, switch off the computer, listen to music, drink herb tea. There's all these other areas of healthy sleep that you could focus on implementing a little bit. So think about that, but we'll have a look at that as we go through your healthy performance plan.
Excellent.
Okay, so now let's go on. Thank you for that. So the one thing that I've found very that I find very interesting about the human body is that you start to, because we're very, very connected. It's just everything. It's a plus and a plus and it's a plus. But what is interesting is that you start to work on one area, it can roll over and help fix other areas. You know,
Definitely.
it's quite interesting like that. So let's talk about, we're now just going to run through the 7 principles, and from these 7 principles we can start then to create your healthy performance plan. Okay. So the very first principle is the power of thought, the big one, the main one. Everything else follows from that. So when you think about what you think about when it comes to, you know, your situation in life, how you feel about yourself, what sort of conversation are you having with yourself?
I am, and I can be my absolute worst critic and beat myself to an absolute pulp. I really try not to, and I've over the times, and I have definitely learnt not to do it as much, or to be able to stop and not let it get to that point. There are unfortunately occasions where it just still happens.
Well, you know, the thing is that we're human beings, so that's the very first thing you have to do is be kind to yourself and forgive yourself. You know, what do you think? You say you try not to, so let's just lose that word try. Boom, gone.
Boom. Yes, you either do or you don't.
Okay, you do or you don't. So what is an I am that you can start to feed your brain that's going to stop you having those conversations with yourself? What is something, let's think about when you have those negative conversations with yourself, how are you seeing yourself? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, usually it's around when that I am feeling like that, it's usually around feeling failure.
Okay, so let's hold that thought. So how would you prefer to feel? Because you know you can, don't you? How would you prefer to feel?
Achieving.
Okay. So I am, I have. Write down those 2 words. I am, I have. So the I have could be, and tell me how you feel about this. The I am could be, I have everything inside of me to achieve exactly what I want, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, any place.
That makes me feel very good.
Cool. So write that down. And then the I am is very simply, I am abundant. I am abundant.
I am abundant.
Yes. I am abundant. So you're going to record those onto your phone, and then you're going to listen to it before you go to sleep in your own voice. There's nothing more powerful than rewiring some of these negative beliefs with the sound of your own voice. So you're going to record, I am abundant and I have everything inside of me right now to achieve anything I want, anytime, anyhow, any place, anywhere. And you're going to switch it on and plug it in and listen to it before you get out of bed in the morning. Now you can add to that I am list. Don't have time right now to go through a whole I am list, but anytime, this is the formula. Anytime you have a negative thought, stop and reframe it. So what does reframing mean? Reframing simply means that you're turning that thought upside down and inside out, and you're seeing what the flip side of that thought could be.
Yes.
So it's the opposite. Okay.
Yes.
So it's you're having a negative thought. What is the positive to that? So let's just have another thought. What is another negative thought that you may have that pops up too many times?
That pops up too many times would be about weight.
Okay.
Yeah, how I see myself in the mirror when I try on a new dress, or
Okay. What's it? What would be something that you could say to yourself?
that you're beautiful whichever way.
Okay,
Beautiful,
let's
beautiful.
yes,
Okay.
you're not incorrect there, but we want to do it better than that. So what
Okay.
is something that you would say to yourself right now?
I am going to. Sorry, I've
So
completely
if you
lost
look
my.
in the mirror, if you looked in the mirror tomorrow morning, what would you say to yourself as now? What would you say now? Before, I mean, what would you say without reframing it? What would be the thing that you would think about right now?
That could look so much better if you were a little bit thinner.
Okay. So now you want to reframe that. Now that's a full sentence. Now, when we use negative sentences in our conversation, we literally are going nowhere. It takes us backwards. Okay. There's always movement, but we want the movement to be forward, not backwards. And of course, the more that you have those negative conversations with yourself, we're priming our brain to see the negative, because please write this down and remember that your brain sees everything you think about. So if you're thinking about, I could look better if, or, if this wasn't working, this would, that sort of a conversation, your brain is going to see everywhere you go, you're going to see that. You're going to see every fat person, every fat clothing, everything that relates to that statement, your brain is going to see.
Yep.
Okay. So we want to reframe that sentence into a forward moving phrase that's going to take you to where you want to go. Now, here's the big thing. And we don't have time on this session to do this, but how do you want to look? Write this down for me. How do you want to look? And how do you want to feel? Because you need to create an absolute beautiful panoramic vision of how you want to look and how you want to feel. I believe very, very strongly that relieving your menopause symptoms, or really taking control of the aging process, is no different to setting any other goal.
Mm-hmm.
No different at all. We've got to see what it looks like. We've got to
Yes.
see what it feels like. We've got to imagine what it, you're building a house, you see the picture of the house, you get the plan of the house, and then you set about starting from the foundation up. And then as it's being built, you sort of imagine yourself in the rooms, and you can see yourself what you're doing in this new house. I mean, this is the process, right? So we have to put in place this exact same process when moving through this menopause maze.
Yes.
How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And you create a beautiful vision of what that looks like. Okay. So that's something that I want you to do. And then how do you want to feel? What do you want to think when you're looking in the mirror? What do you want to have what's the conversation that you want to have in your head?
That the person, or that when I'm looking at myself, that I feel that I'm looking at a healthy, happy person.
Okay. So very simply, I am healthy and happy.
Yes.
Very simple. I am healthy and happy. Now that I am adds on to your I ams that you're going to be saying in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I am healthy and happy. And that when you say that I am healthy and happy, straight away, your brain sees that vision of what let's call yourself a project. You're a project now. And that project has an end vision. And when you say I am healthy and happy, boom, bam, your brain sees that end project. You are a project right now. And when you think about it like that, then there's these moving parts that you need to put into place. Okay, and this helps to remove the emotion of it a little bit as well, because we can get pulled into the emotion of how bad it feels, right?
Yes.
But when you disassociate a little bit from the emotion and you just look, I'm a project and these are the steps that I have to do, so I am healthy and happy. Makes sense?
Excellent.
Yeah, let's go into the purpose of nutrition. So you're on your healthy performance plan, you've got your I ams.
Yes.
Your I ams. And then I want you to think about any negative thought that comes up that you need to stop and reframe it into a positive forward moving either sentence or word.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
absolutely.
do that. Cool. Okay,
Yep.
so now we've got the purpose of nutrition, and well, this is another big topic, but we just want to touch base of it, touch the base of it for this exercise. Do you eat regularly?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have protein at every meal?
No.
Okay. Protein is a burning food. Proteins are not made in the body, so we've got to put protein into our body. Now, some of this protein is recycled. Most of it, though, we need to put clean protein into our body at least 3 times a day. The body doesn't produce it, and it's essential to rebuild muscle and nerve fiber. It's essential for healthy hormone health. All of our connective tissue and our joints is all protein-based. Our endocrine system is protein. So we need to make sure that you are putting having protein at least 3 times a day. Protein is a burning food, and what we mean by that is because it helps to rebuild helps to rebuild muscle fiber. Muscle fiber is part of the building lean muscle. Lean muscle is the engine to the body. It uses energy, it burns fat, it moves toxins through the body. It looks better than fat, clearly, so that helps with the look of yourself, and it also helps to support your skeletal system. So if you've already said that you have a few aches and pains, the stronger your muscles are, the more support they give your bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's why eating protein 3 times a day is important. Remember how I said at the beginning, there's lots of moving parts and how it's all connected. So this is why protein is so important. So put on your healthy performance plan, clean protein 3 times a day. Now that could look like a protein shake for breakfast maybe. Make sure that when you go out, you've always either got a clean protein bar or protein shake. So if you're not able to, if you have to skip a meal, you've got something there that you can have. And if you're vegetarian, make sure are you vegetarian?
No.
No. Okay. So just make sure that all your protein is clean, not too much meat. How much meat would you eat a week? Red meat.
Basically every dinner time.
Red meat every dinner time.
Oh no, not red meat.
No. Okay.
Chicken or fish or.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So mix it up.
It's mixed up, yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so wonderful. And just a little rule of the thumb, handful of greens at every meal. Boom. Doesn't matter what you're eating, a handful of greens at every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
Now we have a gorgeous green protein powder, which is vegan, dairy-free, sugar-free, and gluten-free. So it's full of all the healthy greens. So it's a great addition. It's a great supplement to add. I like to mix. I mix cacao, add berries to it, so you can really have it as a great smoothie. But that would be something that I would recommend that you have as an extra protein. You're getting that extra protein.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
I can. Yes, definitely look at that for sure.
Cool. Okay. So that's nutrition and supplements. Do you take nutritional supplements?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And I know that you do take supplements. I'm asking this question because we're coaching in action, but I do know that you take some supplements. But I think we really need to revisit what you're taking, because there's too many symptoms there, and we need to revisit the supplements you're taking so we can target the symptoms that you're experiencing right now.
Yes.
Okay, and this is why the ongoing coaching is so important, because things shift and change, especially at this age, and we have to move with the shifts and changes.
Yes.
So what may have worked 12 months ago may not work the same now. So we've got to look at that. So we'll revisit the supplements that you're taking later. Okay,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. But it's wonderful that you are taking the supplements and you're open to it, because supplements top up the food you're eating. They enhance the food you're eating with all of those gorgeous nutritional elements. And the truth is that over 40, taking the right nutritional supplementation is essential for ultimate health. It's either nutrition and lifestyle now, or medication later. Fact. Right? And I know that you understand that. You're open to that. Fabulous. Now let's look at the prescription of exercise. Do you exercise?
Not regularly.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you like to exercise with a friend, by yourself, in a group? You know, how do you like to exercise?
I can do either. I can be in a group, or I can do by myself, and it's more about getting back into, as you say, our body likes to have routine, and have not been in a good routine for a few months now.
Okay. So, you know, I look at it very simply. Movement is essential for life. So we've got to move. Sitting too long, just not a good thing to do. We need to move. And so starting off, when you want to get back into a routine, or you've been sedentary for a while, is to just start moving. You know, and this is overheard. I know this is overheard, and I know you would have heard it, but it's just about remembering. Park further away. Use stairs if you can.
Yes.
You know, it's about just being consciously aware of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, now, have I moved much today?
Yes.
Not exercise, have I moved much? Because you want to start moving first, and then you move into exercise. Okay, remember, we've got to feed the unconscious before we actually take action. So do you enjoy exercise?
I do enjoy exercise. I enjoy, my biggest one is walking, bushwalking, walking on the beach, or cycling.
Okay.
Or yoga. They're my exercises of choice.
Okay. So just start getting yourself into moving more, and then move into an exercise that you know that you can, and it can be a mixture, you know, walk on the beach, as long, okay, and here's what it is. I know that you love dogs. I know that you walk your sister's dogs, but that's the dog's walk. For you, it's movement, okay? Very, very distinct difference. You're moving, fabulous, box number one, but it's the dog's walk. Why? Because you have to work with what the dog wants.
Yes.
So you're not able to move your muscles continually, stop and start. You're not able to get your heart rate up, stop and start. The dog wants to pee, poop, talk to other dogs, you have to stop. So as I said, that's movement. Excellent. Congratulations. But you need to at least have three good exercise sessions for yourself, minimum a week. Can you do that?
I certainly can. Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Now, the other thing is building that lean muscle. We have to put our muscles under resistance. So, do you enjoy doing push-ups?
No.
No. Okay. So, I love the honesty. So on your healthy performance plan, you're going to add, you know, three exercise sessions a week, or grow into that. Right now you're moving, but if you think that you're ready, put 3 exercise sessions a week. Okay, we've got to build that lean muscle. Now we know that adding the protein powder is going to help with maintain some of that lean muscle, but you need to put the muscles under resistance. So you do yoga.
Yes. Okay. It has something that I have done previously and have been out of routine.
Okay.
With.
Okay. So there's 2 parts. There's a lot of different forms of yoga, but let's just break it up into 2 parts. There's power yoga and there's meditation yoga.
Yes.
You want to have a balance of both.
Yes.
Because power yoga is going to help strengthen your muscles. Meditation yoga is going to help to, you know, renew your central nervous system and just give you that over good, healthy, spiritual well-being.
Yes.
But again, you want to have a couple of sessions per week. And you know what? A simple way of doing that is just decide to learn how to do push-ups, get some push-ups. And the truth is, honestly, the truth is, if you fall in love with push-ups and lunges, you can have a tightly lifted butt, activate, support all those hip joints, activate the gluteus maximus and the gluteus medius, and push-ups. When push-ups are done correctly, it's great for core strength and the upper body. So
Right.
fall in love with push-ups and lunges, and you can do those anywhere, anyhow, any place.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that is something that you're going to put on your plan as the idea that you're going to work on. I'm telling myself I'm going to fall in. First off, I'm going to learn how to do them properly,
Yes.
and then I'm going to love doing them.
Love
But
doing
again,
them.
this right now is a thought process, not an action.
Yes.
Okay, remember, every success starts with a thought.
Yes.
Well done. Okay. Next is perfect balance. Now, perfect balance includes sleep, hormone, stressors. Now, we've already talked about our sleep.
Yep.
Now, let's look at stressors. How do you manage your stressors? Are you a person that stresses, like gets anxious and sort of feels depressed and like, or are you somebody who's pretty cruisy with stressors?
I'm usually pretty cruisy. I do tend to bottle it up inside, and then for me, stress usually comes out like my stomach and bowel, those sort of things. I do, obviously, like pretty much everybody walking on the planet, I can blow a puffer valve every now and again.
Of course, no, that's a health. Blowing a puffer valve is a healthy thing to do. We're just talking about, because if you're somebody who's a worry, let's use the word worrywart, then we need to develop strategies for you to be able to manage the stressors in life, because too much stress, as you know, increases your cortisol level, and if you're raising your cortisol level, that is toxic, and that is going to create a greater imbalance in your hormones.
Yes, no, I'm not a worrywart.
Okay, cool. And then let's talking about hormones. Look, what we're doing here is creating a new balance in your body, and when you create this new balance, it can naturally help to balance up what's happening with your hormones. But sometimes bioidentical hormone replacements, I've never gone down that road myself, and I've helped a lot of women work with balancing up those main hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, just by using a progesterone cream. I still use a progesterone cream. So have you ever used a progesterone cream?
No, I haven't. No.
So it's an interesting thing, and I'm about to interview a lady, so watch out for that interview. She has spent 20 years studying hormones and the power of estrogen. Interesting. She's a very interesting woman, and somebody who I want to interview so that we can help you understand more what's going on with these hormones. But for me, keeping it simple, keeping it on within the framework of what we do, a natural progesterone cream helped get rid of my hot flushes almost immediately. And it is an essential element to balancing out the estrogen and progesterone formula. So I'll share with you what I use, and that might be something that you may want to add in.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. Really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. It really is interesting. You can do some study with Dr. John Lee. John and then LEE, progesterone therapy. Now, Dr. John Lee is no longer with us, but he pioneered progesterone therapy.
Okay.
And good and worth having a look at. Okay, next we have poisons of toxins, and this is a very simple one. Do not use chemicals in your house.
Yes.
Very simple. Use natural makeups as best as possible. Do not use lipsticks with lead in. Just make sure that what you're putting in your personal space is clean. I have a very simple thinking around this. As soon as we walk out our front gate, we are bombarded with all of the toxins in the world. All of it. We cannot control what our brain and our body goes up against when we live in the world, but we can make decisions when we live in our personal space what we use. So
Right. Yes. Of course.
get rid of all chemicals. The thing is that natural cleaners and natural cleansers and natural, dishwashers and washing powders and all the things we use in the house, natural will kill the bugs or stop the bugs from coming for you and keep you clean and healthy. Chemicals will kill the bugs and slowly kill you. It's that simple. Okay. I went and stayed at a friend's house over the weekend. They have a bathroom full of chemicals hanging everywhere, and I woke up yesterday morning with a pounding headache. I do not get headaches, but I know it was because I slept in a house with chemicals.
Right.
Okay. So I just went out and got some fresh air, drank heaps of water, and the headache went away. So just make sure this is very real. I've helped so many women relieve hot flushes and have a better overall well-being by removing chemicals from your personal space.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is pride in self. And look, the pride in self is all about loving who you are. And so if I just ask you one question, how do you feel about yourself? And what's that first word that pops into your head?
Courageous.
Courageous. Cool. Well, that's a good thing to feel. What's another word that pops into your head?
Empathetic.
Okay. And what's another word?
Loving.
I can concur with all those three things. So having pride in self is respecting who you are so that you can love yourself. We firmly believe that you cannot love yourself unless you respect yourself. So respecting self has to come first. Loving self comes next, and then you can have complete pride in yourself. Loving elements of you is where we start. Got to identify all the things that you love about yourself so your brain's primed to see all those wonderful things. We can get so pulled into what yesterday's person was, and because there's a lot of women out there that are feeling all of these pain and pressure points of menopause, they're forgetting about all the wonderful things they are. So I'm so glad that you're seeing all of that, and then you whip yourself into shape and you're feeling better about looking in that mirror. You're going to have 100% pride in yourself, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Yes, and I know that I was interviewing a wellness practitioner in now where is she? Somewhere in America, and she was saying we have to accept who we are, and I said, well, I agree with that, but we only have to accept who we are, and accept who we can be. We've also got to accept who we can become, because if we become complacent with where we are right now, we'll never become more.
Yes. Okay. Correct. Yeah, that's definitely a feeling. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, yes, it's very easy. Yeah, very easy to be very complacent in a situation or in an area where you feel that some things are going okay and some things are going great, and then there's also the things that aren't going so great, but feeling slightly complacent because you feel that the seesaw is slightly higher the other way.
And do you ever feel that, do you ever feel sometimes that you're just going to accept what is?
On occasion, I'm going to be honest and say, yeah, I do fall into that little pattern, and really that pattern happens when I'm not working on myself and I'm not working on I'm not working on me. I'm being rather than working on me. Just being me rather than working on me.
Yeah, that's accepting who the me is today rather than working on who you know you can be. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations. That's a great awareness, because we never want to get complacent and we never want to live in the world of excuses. I'm feeling this way because I'm menopausal, so I'm accepting it and it's okay.
Yeah.
Definitely
do have times and days where I go, Yeah, well, it's all out of my control. I can't change anything, so I just have to go with it.
Absolutely. But you know what? You're here today with me on air talking to the world about this. So I know that you are not that person, and that is absolutely fabulous. You should be very proud of it because you're courageous, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so the last P is prosperity, and prosperity is identifying your values and what's important to you. Now, we don't have time to go into all of that right now, but if I just said to you, when you think about what you want to achieve in life, this is the formula. Think about what you want to achieve in life. When you close your eyes and you see where you want to be. So when you're 85, you're 90 years old, sitting on that rocking chair, and you can look back and go, oh my gosh, I gave it my best to get to where I wanted. I achieved what I wanted, or I did it my best. You want to always have that, be able to have that conversation with yourself. So when you see what you want to achieve, really, really create that vision of that. And then what values do you need to put in place so that you can achieve it? Okay. Now, this isn't something that you need. This is something I want you to think about, because this will be a whole nother conversation, whole nother coaching session on screen or off screen. But this is what I want you to think about. So just think about, what you want to achieve. And I'm sure you've got an idea of that. But what would be your top 3 values right now? What are the top 3 things that are most important to you?
Most important, honesty is right up at the top. Money.
Yeah.
And health.
Okay. Cool. Love it. I'm so glad you said money, because money needs to be a high value so that you can achieve what you want. And I think for a lot of women there's a lot of challenges around that. But health and money is 2 very great values that are going to help you achieve what you want. But this is just opening the door to this. This, as I said, is a whole nother conversation for another day, because it is a big subject. Yeah. But you do need to create that vision of where you're going. Who is the woman that I need to become? And this time of life is such a perfect time, and you're taking it by the horns. You're doing it. So proud of you. So you've got your healthy performance plan. So let's just whip through your healthy performance plan. Number 1, you need to really think about your I ams. Okay, so you're going to do your I ams. You're going to stop and think about any negative thoughts that come up so you can reframe them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So you're going to put into place the exercising. So you can think about 3 times a week where you can do some exercise for you.
Yes.
And then just adding on to that, put in place the 1% overload principle. You warm up, you get the blood flowing, you assess the energy. If the energy is great, you power it. If the energy is like, well, I've exercised, now I'm going to go home, you still keep moving, but you just monitor what the output is.
Yes.
We always want exercise to have a positive result. And if you push your body past that 1% overload, if you're a little fatigued, then 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll want to go to sleep.
Right.
Okay, so just think about doing that. And you're going to start to put on your ideas page in your book. You're going to start thinking about falling in love with push-ups and lunges.
Yes.
But you are going to go to yoga. So your next piece of your healthy performance plan then is making sure that you're having protein 3 times a day.
Yes.
Clean protein 3 times a day, and a handful of green at every meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's that. So perfect balance. We've talked about sleep. So just think about that sleep pattern, and preparing yourself for bed. Actually, we've got another great product within the supplements that I will talk to you about called Night. I think it's just called Night. It's just a tea, and I'm a good sleeper, but what I'm finding with drinking Night is that I'm actually sleeping very, very soundly. And if I need more sleep, my body tells me I need to sleep.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
That's really
this Night is very interesting. You just make a cup and you drink it 30 minutes before you go to sleep, but it just works. Okay, so the other aspect of nutrition is we need to just go through and revisit your supplements so that you're taking the right supplements in relation to what you're feeling right now, and get you started on the green protein.
Yes.
Okay, then we're down to poisons and toxins. I know there was sort of like an sort of like a moment with the poisons and toxins. So I now know that you're going to go check out what chemicals are you using around your personal space, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and get rid of anything that isn't natural. Sometimes you've got to bring the chemicals in just to, you might need to do something like mold on the showers
Yeah.
if you're not regularly doing it. But as a general rule, and let's work on the 80-20 rule as an 80% rule, chemical-free space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And then prosperity is you're going to sit down and we're going to go and have another session where we can go through your value system so we can make sure that the values that you're living by, you may need to shift some of the hierarchy of the values so you can achieve where you're going.
That sounds fabulous. Looking forward to it.
So how does that all sound? Does that all sound doable for you?
Definitely. And it's small increments,
Yeah.
which is very doable. And I know that I definitely, if someone says, all right, you've got to go do this, and this, and it just gets overwhelming and then nothing happens.
Absolutely. And it's when it comes, back to the power of thought, please do not engage in any negative gossipy
No,
conversations.
no.
And I know that you've been involved in coaching for a long time, but I'm just reminding you.
Thank you. I do need reminding.
Yes, well, we all do. We all need reminding. So do you have any questions before we end today?
No, I think you've very much covered everything there, and the things that I had been thinking about, we've gone through, just especially with the exercise. I know that we need to do it, and I know how good I feel when I do it. So just really getting back in and just getting that extra, give myself a bit of a kick and say, right, that's it. Just go and book that yoga session.
Yeah, and you know what? We call it the prescription of exercise because exercise need to be prescribed to what your outcome is.
Yes.
If you want to, because you want to, you really want to be able to sort of, just work on your body, then there has to be an exercise program specific to that. So that's why you need to fall in love with push-ups and lunges. Because walking, as much as what walking is essential for great health, exercise walking is essential for metabolism. You still need to build that lean muscle. Lean muscle is the engine to our body over 40, 50, 60, 70. It helps keep us fit, strong, and healthy. So prescription of exercise is what we need to prescribe so you can achieve what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, good Bill.
I can do
Well,
that.
thank you. Well, I just want to thank Lorraine again just for joining us today. I hope you've got some clarity on how simple our to get your healthy performance plan is. It's very specific to you, it's individual to you, it's personalized to you. And I hope that Lorraine's courage to share her story with us today has given you some courage to step out. So click on the link, talk to us today, and let's get you started so you know exactly what you need to do every single day so that you can be fit, strong, and healthy as you move and manage this menopause maze forever. So have a wonderful day. Always remember, you're amazing. You deserve to live your healthy, wealthy, rich life. And we look forward to talking to you. Well, thank you for listening to the session with Lorraine. This was all about lifestyle, how she thinks, what she's doing, what her symptoms are. We didn't go deep into her emotional states and really helping her to release some of that unconscious crap, the pain and crap, procrastination, resistance, apprehension, negative programming, criticism, resistance, anxiety, and procrastination. That's pain and crap, because that's more private. This was just lifestyle and mindset to give you an idea. And you could learn something as well, because it's amazing what you can learn from listening to other people's stories. So please, if this is something that you think you need so we can get into your own personal situation, go to the links and get the coaching session, the menopause coaching session, and do your work personally with me. This channel is all about me. And I only have so many sessions a week that are available we do have our other coaches, but this channel is all about me. So go and get that now, and let's see how we can, get your healthy performance plan helping you look and feel the best. Remember, you're listening, you're learning, you're becoming, and you're worthy of all things wonderful. And I'll be right back here with you tomorrow.